Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Sarah Cody, and we're keeping it geekly with our returning guest, Michael Katz. We're here to break down Metalhead and everything in between. I was looking, I started trying to take small notes, just, so I could do throwbacks, and this is your fourth appearance on the show. I mean, you've been on for 37, 132 for Riot Earp, 291 for Golden Years, and now 393 for Metalhead. Congratulations on just having such a long-going, history as a creator. What's been up since the last time you've been on the show?
Let's see. Last time I was on the show was for Golden Years. Got all those out of the way. Have all been distributed except for I have two stragglers that haven't sent me their addresses.
Oh, so, no.
Yeah. After a year, Kickstarter closes the system, so I keep emailing them directly, and they haven't responded that way either.
That's so weird. Like you paid for this, and you're trying to do the right thing. Like, just answer, please.
yeah, I know. It's weird. I haven't had any problems with fulfillment of Riot Earp that way. But Riot Earp is still ongoing. My artist, Fred Bennis, is still working on the next issue, which should be out later this year. And right now I'm focusing on Metalhead.
Congratulations. So for everyone that is watching, give us a little bit about Riot Earp and Golden Years. And what we'll do is we'll drop a link down below where people can pick up those issues as well.
Okay. Yeah, Riot Earp is an adventure, action-packed, a little bit of sci-fi involved. Takes place in the year 2055, where our hero, Ryan Earp, is a member of the California Highway Patrol. He's just gotten back from being stationed in space for 5 years, and he's seeing a divided America, which may ring true to quite a few people. And he's seeing just what would happen if America was divided into 4 provinces, 2 Democrat and 2 Republican, which some people in politics have recommended at this point in time.
Yeah. It is such, when I was reading that, it was awesome too, because how close it did feel to home a little bit, just with how things in our current day and age, just like we could probably talk a few hours on that as well. But the interiors of that was just so gorgeous. I love how action packed it was, and the storytelling is just phenomenal. I love seeing you work with all these different creators and creative teams as well. And Golden Years was another phenomenal series as well.
Yeah, that was my superhero book. A hero from 1950 is trapped by a villain, put in suspended animation, comes out in the present time. So he's a fish out of water, dealing with a very different present time. So in addition to your usual superhero battles, we see what it's like to be living in the present day.
Yeah.
And how different it would be for someone from 70 years ago.
We have our good friend Captain B-Dub joining us over on Twitch, saying, hello, fellow geeks. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us, B-Dub. It's always nice to see your face in chat. That's a really interesting point, too. I've had this conversation off and on with a couple people about Captain America getting frozen in ice and coming out in the day and age would probably be, I don't know, maybe not as nice to everybody around him, like that day and age is just, it's wild to think of how society was back then, and you take someone from that era and throw them into current day, and there's gonna be a lot of trouble. And one thing that was really unique with your book is you had 2 different really distinctive art styles that really just kind of like emphasized the immersion I felt reading this.
Right, past and present.
Yes, it was awesome. It was awesome. Who was the creative team on that again?
Kevin McGuire did the flashbacks, the 1950s scenes.
Oh, that was so gorgeous too.
For present day, I had Jack Herbert and Neto Diaz and Keith Champagne. Neto went on, he used the art from this book to get a full-time gig with Marvel Comics. So he's now doing Predator.
Did you ever like ring up Marvel and you're like, hey, what about me? That was my book. Like,
not yet, but I'm still it would be. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't have to write for Marvel or DC, but it would be cool to do one day. But I am still, the cool thing about Kickstarter is that the books that you do are susceptible to being taken by a legit publisher later and reprinted for wider consumption, and I'd love to get especially golden years. I'd love to get that in comic stores.
Oh yeah, that's a perfect fit, no doubt. Let me ask you though, if you had the opportunity to write any character you could for DC or Marvel, who would you pick? And feel free to maybe throw out a couple names so you don't have to focus on one.
I mean, definitely Batman. I've already got a great story in mind, and it's the way I work is I come up with snippets of dialogue and plot here and there, and I just put them together in a jigsaw puzzle style. So I have the bare bones for a 4-issue miniseries if DC is interested.
Let's go. Is that kind of? Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to ask, is that kind of like your writing process as a whole? Like, is that how you did the other 2 series as well?
Yeah, that's how I do everything. I don't go from start to finish. I think of the bare bones of a story, and then snippets of dialogue will come to me, or an action scene will come to me, and I'll pick and choose. Okay, this scene goes here in this issue, and then this one goes, I can use that in this issue, and then I just have to combine everything, and that's where the hard part is. That's the tough part of the writing process, is connecting everything, and sometimes you have an ending in mind already, sometimes you don't, and you think, okay, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do to make a big payoff at the end?
So, I mean, when you're putting that puzzle together, like, what else are you doing? Are you listening to any sort of music, or maybe playing a show in the background? Like, what's that process look like for you as a whole?
Sometimes I just sit and stare at the computer, and and things just start snowballing. Okay, I can do this, and then what's next? It just you gotta be creative and let that creativity start rolling.
I love that, and the questions you're asking yourself while you're piecing it together too, I'm sure help kind of lead the way to other situations. There's possible scenarios that could pop up as well.
Yeah, you want to be as original as possible. That's the big thing. I like to put spins on things. When I edit other people's work, if I see something that's cliched, I say, okay, this has been done so much. How can we make something new and original? How can we put a twist and maybe add a second twist? And I've had authors who have gone on to be published by bigger companies like Penguin Books and Random House. Tell me, thank you so much for for that advice. I still think about it every time I write something.
And I think that because that's a service you offer through your Kickstarters, right?
I don't usually do that with my Kickstarters, but I do edit other people's books.
Okay.
Something I offer on my Strider Nolan website. That's the publishing company that I started in 2002. Some people's books I edit and I publish, and some people's books I edit and they take elsewhere.
So what are some of the defining things you're looking for when picking up someone to publish?
Well, in this day and age, you really have to be able to market yourself, unless you're, Stephen King or John Grisham.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any company's money behind you in advertising. So you need to be able to push your own product. And anybody I work with who I publish, number one, has to be able to push themselves, but number two, has to have some kind of spin on what they've done that will hopefully be the basis for their marketing.
Marketing that's a thing in itself. It's such a hard, if you don't understand it, I mean, you could have the best book out there and no one's ever going to see it or read it. And it's such a hard thing for a lot of creators to come to terms with. I mean, for you, what are some of the best practices you found for marketing?
Well, that's the toughest aspect of, of anything in the system. I mean, you have to go through social media so much. It helps if you have connections, other people that can push your work for you. It helps if you can get names to supply blurbs for books you're working on. And if you have something special that you can spin your project with, then you can hopefully get publications to pick up and maybe write just a little something about it, even on their own websites or their own social media, because what they say is that it takes a certain number of times to hear about a project to want to buy it yourself. So you've got to get the project, in people's eyes and ears as much as possible, as often as possible.
And that's a delicate line to walk too, because it's like, am I being annoying with this? Am I doing this too much? Am I doing this too little? Another thing that kind of really helps with marketing is having gorgeous interiors, and Metalhead is just filled with it to the brim. 48 pages of gorgeous interiors. We have aliens enslaving Australia. Humans are trapped in exoskeletons, forced to work as slaves, and there's a lot of sexiness going on in this. So give us a little bit about Metalhead. It seems like you're hitting every genre right on its nose. I'm loving it, Michael.
Yeah, I write every genre because I like every genre, and I write what I like. This time around, it's kind of a love letter to Heavy Metal magazine. I grew up reading heavy metal and watching the movies, and I still pick up the magazine once in a while, and it's obviously adult themes. I don't go over the top like some heavy metal magazine creators do. There's nudity, but not over the top. There's violence, but not over the top. There's language, but not over the top. Like I said earlier, you could show it to a teenager and not get into too much trouble with their parents. But yeah, this is a little different. Riot Earp has some language and some sex situations, but not adult themed, not safe for work like Metalhead does.
I mean, how did you find it challenging at all to write like an adult content like comic, or was it just something that was like second nature? Like, because it seems a little bit different compared to Riot Earp and Golden Years. So
no, it wasn't difficult at all. You basically write what you know. And I know.
Okay, Michael.
Different things. No, I mean,
I'm just playing.
Yeah. But no, I know different genres because I was raised on different genres, whether it's sci-fi or horror or superhero. I love them all, and therefore I like to think I can write them all. It's not difficult to change the hat that I'm wearing as I'm writing. And I could have gone further with Riot Earp, but I wanted to make it more marketable for more people. And Golden Years is I don't think there's any language in that book. It's kind of more mainstream superhero type of book. But this time around I wanted to do something that was a little less tame.
Okay.
I guess.
We have our good
That's
friend.
what I was looking for.
We have our good friend Diggs, by the way, 7 saying, hey, what's up over on Twitch on Keeping It Geekly? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you joining us. So is that kind of why you held the reins back a little bit with like going over the board with like the violence and the language and this and the not safe for workness and Metalhead is just so you wanted to make sure you could still hit that younger market?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, if you look at it, say Heavy Metal, the movie, there's a lot of gore.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was necessary to include a Metalhead. There is sex. There's a sex scene. There is nudity, but that had a role to play in the book.
Mm-hmm.
There is language, but again, that had a role to play in the book. I just didn't think having people show their body parts being blown off was, conducive to this particular story.
Yeah.
It's just you play it by ear. Whereas my horror book, which I got hopefully coming out later this year, there will be gore.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I am loving this. So let's kind of touch base a little bit more. Give us of the protagonist. The protagonist is a really interesting character as well, if you can, without spoiling.
Sure. Yeah. His name is Phil. He is one of hundreds of mindless slaves who were trapped in these exosuits that the alien invaders have placed them in, and they are sent to mines. Australia is really chock full of various elements that are great for mining.
Mm-hmm.
So the aliens arrive and they are basically taking over Australia, and the rest of the world is like, okay, you can have Australia as long as you leave us alone. And our hero Phil was in a car accident as a youth, and he had a metal plate inserted in his head, and that's where the title Metalhead comes from, because that plate creates a disturbance with the exosuit, and he winds up breaking free of the brainwashing, and he's also experiencing the thoughts and dreams and memories of aliens who had previously been trapped in the same exosuit.
Oh, wow.
So he's able to use the suit, which is kind of a multi-purpose tool, to escape. And then he's on the run. He's on the run from aliens. He's on the run from Australian government agents who want to capture him and open him up and see what makes him in the suit tick.
Ooh. And I mean, you're surrounded by other Australians who are enslaved, probably want to tell on you too, so they don't get in trouble. I mean, that seems like just a scary situation to be in for Phil. And I am loving all the different layers to this. Let's go ahead, pull up the Kickstarter and see what all the hype is about. So give me a few seconds. I'll switch right over here. For everyone that is watching, I really, really appreciate you guys hanging out here the whole entire time. We're going to drop this link right in chat. Be sure to check this out with us. You can back. We would love to see that, but simply putting this on Facebook and Twitter is 100% free. Word of mouth costs you nothing to do. And you're going to have a friend who's going to love this. I mean, who doesn't love sexy, not safe for work interiors? I mean, just action-packed sci-fi. And I mean, dude, it's crazy. Let's go ahead and check out these interiors a little bit more. We are looking at Metalhead, not safe for work sci-fi for adults only at $2,311 of a $4,000 goal with 94 backers and 26 days left to go. So a little over halfway the mark. How you feeling right now, Mike?
I mean, I feel good, but you can always feel better. It doesn't matter if you meet your goal. You always want more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the more you get, the more resources you have for the next project and the next project.
We have some interesting characters too. So we have our main man in the middle, but who's this sexy damsel right here?
That is an alien fifth columnist that helps him out.
Ooh.
That's Janina.
And we have a ominous glowing set of eyes and sharp teeth right here over his shoulder.
One of the alien overlords.
Oh, those things are terrifying.
Yeah. The idea is that the overlords use this race of pink-skinned aliens to better relate to humans because they're similar to us in so many ways.
Yeah, they're more humanoid. Wow, I love just how deep you go with this. And then, is this like a commander over his other shoulder then?
No, that's just a run-of-the-mill guard.
Okay.
There's a couple. This is the background is the cover of the book, and I superimposed a couple of the lovely ladies who show up.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome. We have Dave Schmeling. If not asked yet, what inspired you for majority of the story? Greetings from Germany. So I know earlier you were talking about Metal AD, but was there any other certain like stories or maybe movies or anything that kind of went into this story?
Not really. It just like many of the things I write, it just the idea or the kernel pops into my head, and I think, okay, and maybe it was inspired by something I saw once, but I can't remember if it was. But it's a little bit of military PTSD, I guess. This guy is he's suffering flashbacks from other aliens. So I want to put, every time I write something, it's got to be heavy on characterization.
Yeah.
And even though this is it was really tough balancing this particular project because this is a very fast-paced project. And so I want to get into his mind at the same time. Every page has got something going on, something, you're moving quickly.
So you mentioned your writing process earlier. When you were working with the creative team on bringing this to life, I mean, do you like to let the artist take the wheel and run, or do you have ideas in your head that you want them to kind of stick to?
I usually I follow what's referred to as the DC method, which is you write exactly what you want the artist to do. Typically, panel 1, here's the dialogue. Panel 2, here's the dialogue, and then they can do what they want with the general layouts. Whereas the Marvel method is you just give a plot, and the artist puts everything on the page, and then you go back and dialogue it yourself.
And then here is a nice example of some of that not safe for work material. Of course, this is blurred out, but if you get this book digitally or in print, that black bar is not going to be there. So,
correct, not included.
So is this just a random picture in the background, or is this maybe a little Easter egg back here?
Oh, that's actually my colorist put a picture of me and my wife at our wedding.
That's so awesome. It looked like something. That's why I wanted to ask when I was going over it. That's so cool. I mean, did they do that without you realizing it?
Yeah. He found that on my Facebook page.
That's so cool. That is awesome.
And there's this scene takes place in a hotel room, and the hero Phil is watching TV, and the colorist added stills from my upcoming horror comic book. So that's another
so cool
Easter egg that he came up with on his own.
We have David Schmeling. That sounds like an interesting adventure for the main character. Absolutely, David. Stay tuned, though. We're going to be going a little bit deeper into it as well. That's so cool that the colorist was able to kind of add that next level of immersion. The little hints towards your next series. No one's going to know about it unless they watch an interview where you talk about it. So I just love stuff like that. And then we have these two lovely ladies right here. Gorgeous shot right here as well.
Variant cover. And again, black bar is not included.
Black bar is not included. So right here are the creators. So let's go ahead and give out the creative team another shout out while we're here.
Yeah, the artist is a guy named Bruno Abdias. I mentioned earlier how Neto Diaz went on to work for Marvel. So obviously he wasn't available to do this book, and he put me in touch with someone who I think is an amazing artist on his own, and he's a young guy. He's only been doing this for a few years, but he's got a great artistic style. All the art in the pages by him.
Mhm.
And I think he looks a little bit like Alan Davis, Brian Hitch, and Paul Neary combined.
Okay, and we have our good friend Captain Feed Plenty popping in on the cheek. Yes, this comic is filled with some nice cheeks and some other body parts as well. Right here is a link to check it out, guys, and if you would like to, we'd love to see you back today. Just simply putting this wherever you can works just as well. Word of mouth is 100% free, so let's go ahead and check out some of these add-ons and reward tiers as well. So you get that. Is the early bird still going on?
No.
Okay.
That was just the first 2 days.
So we have the digital version of this 48 pages plus at $8. You can get the print version at $14, outstanding price for 48 pages plus. You can get the hard copy variant cover at $25, the hard copy with the pinups at $30, and then the Strider Nolan sampler. So what's all included in this?
4 books from my publishing company. It's going to be, different genres, just and some things maybe by me, some things maybe by other people. I'll check. I do all the fulfillment myself. So if I see your name and I don't recognize it, I may throw in a Riot Earp or a Golden Years.
And that Golden Years is huge. I mean, that is one huge book.
Yeah, it was designed to be a 5-issue miniseries, but I didn't want to wait, a year and a half to put it on Kickstarter and have it go once every 4 months, say. So I combined it all in one shot.
We have both covers, hard copies, plus the pinups at $50. You can get a commission and all the extras. So right here is a little bit of an example right there. Is there any guidelines to this commission, or is it anything that the pledger wants?
Anything you want. Anybody you want the artist to draw. I've got the artist on the project, Bruno Abdias, doing 5. I've got my Riot Earp partner, Fred Bennis, doing 5. And I've got Daryl Banks himself available to do 5 commissions.
Wow. Outstanding. And then, of course, right here are some of the add-ons, too. You can get
pinups there. Those are the covers of the 3 Riot Earp books.
And then the Golden Years as well.
Yeah.
Outstanding campaign. And then this is your 7th Kickstarter or 6th?
Boy, 5.
He's like, I'm losing count.
yeah. It's something. I did 3 Riot Earps. I did Golden Years. I did a book, Barry the Christmas Bat. So yeah, this is my 7th.
7's the lucky number. Let's go. So for anyone who is on the fence about backing, what would you like to say to them to kind of help push them over that hump?
You're going to like this book. I want to give a shout out to Keith Champagne, who edited the book and helped with the dialogue after the fact. So it's been polished quite well, front and back. It's fast-paced book, great artwork, and the conclusion is coming later this year. So you're not going to have long to wait. It's pretty much a complete story in issue 1, but the conclusion will come later this year. And there's also room for, extending the story down the line if enough people like it.
I love it. So, Michael, you gave us some teases a little bit earlier about this horror book you're coming out with. I mean, what's next for you in 2023?
Yeah, question is just which art is done first, because I like to have the art done before I put a book on Kickstarter. So I've got the next Riot Earp in the works. I've got this horror book. It's called Horror Show, that Daryl Banks is drawing. That's a 40-pager, and he's up to say page 28, I guess. So I'm at his mercy of when he can fit it in, since he's a busy guy. But he doesn't forget about me, and when he gets time to do it, he cranks out about 2 pages a week, 2 3 pages. So he thinks it'll be done by the end of this year, and then Metalhead 2 will definitely be done by the end of this year as well.
So 3 potential books. Holy crap. You are one busy man. So Michael, you've been on the show before. You know the drill. We always love asking for a little bit of advice. So as someone who's ran 6-7 Kickstarters, what would be the biggest thing, someone looking to run one for the first time can do just to make sure, they're off on the right foot?
Well, it's getting more and more competitive. That's the big thing you have to be aware of. There are a lot more Kickstarter. Even some of the big publishing companies that are out there are using Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less money for you to tap into because it's being spread a lot more thinly. You need to do something to get your project noticed above and beyond everybody else's, and usually that means you got to spend money to do it, and you may not make that money back. I've heard it said you've got to spend a lot of money to make a little money in the comic business. So you have to be prepared to finance it out of your own pocket and not make your money back. But it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you can keep selling, you can keep reprinting, you can take your books to shows. If you're lucky, you can land a publisher who will reprint your book for you. Someone like Band of Bards, wants to take on Golden Years. I'm happy to work with them. I've heard good things about them. I got some conventions lined up where I'll be, talking to some publishers.
No, that is awesome. Congratulations. And Band of Bards, if you're listening, I think you need to make that move. This is a fantastic book. Do not lose the heat on it. So, Michael, we always end the show on a strong note now. Now, outside of creating, what are you consuming? What books are you reading? What TV shows are you watching? Any new movies? What are you consuming?
Consuming. I haven't had a lot of time lately. I consume a lot of shorts on YouTube these days.
Those are so addicting, aren't they?
Yeah. For example, I love shows that talk about bad movies, like weird movies with Mark.
Okay.
Under the name Fanboy Flicks. Those are some of my favorites. It's like a condensed version of MST3K.
So I listen to a lot of I used to listen to a lot of, they're called found flicks. So he would listen to horror movies or any sort of movie and give you an analytical breakdown, like a 10-minute break. So it's you watch the movie without having to watch the movie.
Right.
And it's something so mindless that you could just listen to. And I don't know what it is. It's almost like an audiobook without being one.
And TV wise, I'm very close to watching the end of the series Ted.
Okay.
On Apple TV. Love that show. It is a great show. And I'm glad I got Apple TV just for that. There's some other stuff worth watching on it, but that's the main reason why I got it. Otherwise, I'm kind of behind. I still haven't seen Ant-Man Quantumania yet. I got to catch up on. I'm late on a lot of things.
It's streaming free on Disney Plus, so at least you don't have to go to the movie theater to see it.
Right.
And then the new Spider-Man Across the Universe. That was, I don't know if you ever get into animation, but that was phenomenal. Holy crap! It was next level.
Yeah, I like the first one, but I can wait for that to come to
Yeah.
come home. But I did see Guardians 3 in the theater, and I do have to see Flash in the theater. I'll be seeing
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
first day.
Guardians
First day
was
it comes out.
sad. Oh my god, no spoilers, but I love that they dove into Rocket the way they did. I felt that was like the perfect way to do it. So guys, with that being said, I feel like we could talk about that all day. We do have to wrap up, so check out those links in chat. Make sure you back today. If not, put it on Facebook, Twitter. Word of mouth is 100% free. Hope you all have a lovely Friday, but most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.